Any thoughts to share on the letter about the near future of Conan? So there was a producer letter that went out. I don't know if you've all seen it, with an update about Conan Exiles and about what's happening. So they were bringing out new chapters for each age every 3 months, which was kind of a great kind of time, really, wasn't it? And then they realised that there were quite a few problems whenever they brought out an update, and they were kind of struggling to keep up with that kind of frequency. So they changed the cadence of releases for content to every 6 months at the end of the Age of War. And they also made it into 4 chapters instead of 3 chapters to give them a chance to kind of get out pieces of content they haven't quite finished yet, and to make sure they weren't kind of rushing to kind of like squeeze too much into a chapter. And then, so then we went to 4 chapters, then to 6 months for chapters instead of 3 months for chapters. And recently they put out a producer letter saying that they would be changing the kind of content schedule by delaying the next chapter for this Age of Heroes. So now the next kind of update is going to be bug fixes, improvements to the game. Because they've accrued, they called it technical debt, basically, by just bringing out so much new stuff. Because obviously this game is created on spaghetti code, as a lot of people who've played the game for a long time know. Every time they fix something breaks. It's a bit like a game of whack-a-mole, I imagine. I don't know, I'm not a game dev. I imagine it's like playing whack-a-mole with this game. So what do I think about that? I think it's great. I think, obviously, I am greedy for content. I love the game. I love covering the game. I love playing the game. I want new things to keep me excited, you guys excited. I want to I want to bring new players to the game for selfish content creator reasons, and also just because I want them to have a reason to keep making content for the game in the future, because I love it so much. I wouldn't have spent 8,000 hours in it if I didn't love it, because there's a lot better games I could cover that would be better for having wider reach as a content creator. So I'm very passionate about this game. I love it so much. Otherwise, I just could not keep playing it. I'm not the kind of person who can just play something if I'm not interested. So I think it's really great that they are fixing things. What I'm hoping for is that this is a sign that they are invested in this game in the long term. I'm really hoping that this means that they've got a lot of plans for the future and they want to build upon the game. And in order to do that, they've got to get their kind of basic stuff sorted. That's what I'm hoping for. I hope it isn't a wind down. I hope it isn't a kind of a softly kind of letting up of kind of, letting us down gently. So there's less content in the future. And I've seen a bunch of different comments kind of in different directions. Lots of people very excited because the game is so buggy. Some of the problems that come out whenever there's a new release really ruin the experience for everybody and put people off, make people furious, particularly because, the bazaar is so expensive. And I feel like people think, listen, I'm giving you all this money for these cosmetic items. I want the game to run. I definitely want to be able to, get into the game. I don't want the games to keep crashing. I don't want to be rubber banding. I don't want to be falling through the world. I don't want my thralls to disappear or die randomly, or just my crafters to wander off. The game needs to just run at a basic level. So I fully kind of support that. So yeah, I really hope that it is because they are investing in long term into the game, because there's so much potential here, I think, and there's so many passionate players, and so many people that would come back to it if they kind of could bring back that kind of excitement we had from Sorcery. Those are my thoughts. How do you guys feel about it? If only Wildcard took a page out of Funcom's playbook. What, in terms of fixing things? Yeah, I think they could kind of help each other. Both companies could kind of help each other. Wildcard at least have brought out so much content to keep people kind of interested, and the game's flourished. I mean, ASA is not doing as well as ASE, is it really at the moment? Because the game is so hard to run. But there is so many different maps, and just so much of a bigger player base than Conan, because you just got to give people new kind of worlds and experiences to keep them interested. But yeah, absolutely. I just think you got to have some pride, and I'm sure that the devs have pride, and I really want to fix this. Everybody's got to balance shareholder interests, the big money makers, the big money spenders, and what they want. They want profits. And they want to kind of squeeze things. I mean, I'm speculating here. I don't know. But, it's got to be that, hasn't it? This kind of pressure that they're under. New Conan maps. Yeah, what do you want added to the game? So if they're fixing the kind of basic stuff, when they're done with that, what do you like super want in this game? What will really make your experience better? For me, I've said it many times, I want Unreal Engine 5 upgrade eventually. The only thing about that is obviously we've got to make sure that it runs on your system. There will be a lot of people playing on potatoes and who need to still be able to access the game and be able to play the game. I also don't want to split the player base. So there's that as well. But definitely, it's been a long time since we've had a new map. Sipta is a great map. We've just started to play through on that. So I feel sticking with Arc Ascended runs better, pay context, reasonably priced, actually has functionality. Yeah, I mean, that's fair, absolutely. Not a huge fan of the bazaar. Many items seems outrageous in price compared to what it gives. Also feel like the content was coming out too fast to properly fix things. So just things just compounded with bugs or made some things worse. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I completely agree with you. I talked about this before as well, but I play Overwatch in my spare time because it's not a survival game. Otherwise, I play survival games all the time, pretty much. And so it's nice to not hit rocks in a game sometimes. And that in that game, you know, skins are super, super expensive, and it really leaves like a bad taste in your mouth when you feel that prices are kind of unfair. I do think that the devs need to be compensated for the work. It's a live service game. And, you know, we want new content. There has to be some money coming in from something. I think, you know, presumably that's the reason they got rid of the battle pass. I don't think it, you know, went down as well as they thought it might do. It seems kind of a strange thing to have a battle pass in a game like this. Yeah, more maps would be great, I think, definitely.